Today we're going to discuss how to find true south. In reality, what we're doing is actually trying to find true north. To get the most amount of power from your panels, you want to have your panels facing due south. The reason being, you'll get the greatest amount of exposure, and you also want to set it at the proper angle. We'll talk about the angle in another video. I watched the crew install this, and I watched the crew leader measure out and place these poles and face them due south without using a compass. Being a scoutmaster for 19 years, I'm pretty familiar with a compass and pretty comfortable with it, and I was quite curious how he was able to determine due south without using a compass. His method was quite interesting and very effective. Let me show you how he was able to determine true south and install these poles. So getting his smartphone, he turned on his GPS and went to his Google Maps application. And he found the house, and as you notice over here, you can see the measuring device. And when he got it down to as far as he could zoom in, it was 10 feet. Then he simply arranged the eaves of my house underneath this right here, because this is going to be level, and then he hit this right here, and this was the key. He hit that little button which shows due north. So he hit the button, which I'm going to do right here. Okay, you see the N on there? That means that it's due north now. By moving the image up and down, he took the left corner of the eave of my house, lined it up underneath this little search bar, and looked at this corner, and estimating that this eave was about 2 feet further down than this side of the house, which would mean that the house was that far off of true south. Again, he was able to make that estimate by using this little measuring device over here, which shows 10 feet. So that's 10 feet. He looked at the eave, he says, okay, that looks like about 2 feet. He then went over to the house and measured with his measuring tape, and it was actually 2 feet. So then what he did is he used the house as his reference. Then when he went to put in his poles, he used this corner as a measuring point, measured out X number of feet, then came out to this corner, did the same thing, and subtracted 2 feet. Then he put down his stakes and made a straight line from this pole to the other pole, and was able to line up the other poles so they're all lined up perfectly. Did it work? Was he right on? Well, let's take a look. Here is me testing whether these poles are actually due south. I have adjusted my compass for magnetic south, which means I'm 12 degrees off of magnetic here in Idaho. And as you can see, these poles are exactly facing east and west, which means that the solar panels will be facing due south. I hope this video helps you in being able to get your panels aligned to due south so you get the most amount of power from your solar panel system. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. And by getting your panels set up due south, you don't have any fear of losing any power through your solar panel generation system.